Hey, what's up? I'm Anthony LeDonne, and today we're going to be cooking Brussels sprouts with feta fondue, pancetta, and a little bit of maple. Let's get going. When I was a kid growing up, Brussels sprouts were not that good. They were steamed, and they were terrible. I thought for the longest time I hated Brussels sprouts, but turns out I found a way to get them down the old gullet. We're gonna get crispy pancetta. So that's gonna give us a little bit of crunch along with the crunch from the Brussels sprouts on the outside and the crispy leaves. What we need is a sauce to tie it all together. Now, big question, why feta? Glad you asked. I love feta mostly because my wife likes it. It's also got a nice little tang and funk to it, so it'll add plenty of flavor. You'll know it's feta, you'll know it's there. Also because I accidentally double ordered feta, so we've got a bunch of extra I've got to use up. Oh, and the secret ingredient to this feta fondue, we're gonna be adding a little bit of gin. So why gin? Good question. I'm so glad you asked that as well. I wanted to kind of find a way to bring the flavors of the season into this dish a little bit better, and to me, nothing says fall like a martini. The juniper from the gin is so perfect in fall, although you get the nice warmth from the alcohol, so that's good for winter. And then some of the botanicals are quite refreshing. You get lemon and stuff and rose petals, that's nice in the spring and summer, so really, it's good for all seasons. All right, let's get making this fondue. I'm just gonna start with a small saucepan over medium-high heat. I'm gonna add white wine first, and we're just gonna reduce this down until it's almost completely dry, where it'll just give us a hint of tanginess that'll go really well with the feta in the final fondue. How many F words can we say in one sentence? Probably shouldn't go with that. I'm gonna keep this G-rated. Okay, that's nice and dry. Now we're gonna be adding some chicken stock. And we're just gonna reduce this all the way down as well until it's pretty much almost dry. I make my own chicken stock. You can find the recipe on my website at anthonyledonne.com/blog/chicken stock. Almost there. Oh, Jakey, come on. Okay, perfect, we're good to go. It's time to add our cream. This is just regular heavy cream. I'm gonna reduce the heat a little bit. I don't want this to burn on the bottom. We're just gonna reduce this cream by about 1/3 to help thicken it up and tighten it up, because we don't want this fondue going everywhere all over the Brussels sprouts. We wanna be able to control it and kind of have it gloop a little bit. Again, technical term, gloop. It's wine time. Screw continuity. More wine. Join me over here, will you? All right, I've just got crumbled feta. We're just gonna add this right in and slowly kind of whisk it around, but we don't have to worry too much because we're gonna be using an immersion blender to immerse and blend. Oh, you're so cheesy. Another fun trick is if you don't have enough liquid in the pan to help get a good blend action going on, you can use a French press carafe. Much better. Oh, look at how creamy that is. So I've got a little bit of cornstarch and water, stirred into a little slurry here. All right. Lest we forget, our gin. The last thing we're gonna do, take it off the heat and add a final little bit of flavoring. We're just gonna add a little bit of acid and a little bit of heat in the form of lime juice and cayenne pepper. Like, look, just like that's all the lime juice. We're gonna add just a little tiny bit to brighten it up. A pinch of cayenne. Use your discretion, you can always add more later. Last but not least, a little bit of salt. Just to help season it up. Look at that. And it'll thicken a little bit more too as it cools, so this will be absolutely perfect by the time we get our Brussels sprouts ready. And those are coming up next. Okay, we got the feta fondue finished. How's that for F words? Okay, so we've got our Brussels sprouts cut in half. I'm gonna add those to a bowl. Next, we're gonna add a whole bunch of extra virgin olive oil. Be pretty liberal with this stuff. You wanna make sure it gets all up in every nook and every cranny. I'm gonna go with one more for good luck. Perfect. Next, salt. Same story here. This is kosher salt. Sprinkle it from on high. Use more than you think too, because a lot of this stuff is gonna come off in the cooking process. All right, now it's just stirred all together. Use the old hands, that's totally fine. sure let's take care of you and you. Poor guy, you're so dry. Let's moisturize you. Now, let's make sure these guys are all lined up on the sheet pan, like that. But now, here is one trick. We're gonna make sure to turn them cut side facing down. That way, when the sheet pan gets hot, it'll help roast all that flat surface area that's in contact with the pan, and it'll expose the leaves to the dry air in the oven, so they'll get nice and caramelized and crispy and tasty. Okay, so let's just turn all these guys over. With the green, show me your backsides. Yes. Ta-da! Perfect. All right, these are ready to go in the oven. Got it preheated to 450. We're gonna drop them in here for about 15 minutes, which will give us just enough time to cook the pancetta. All right, into the oven we go. It'll get hot. All right, we've got our pancetta in the pan. One of the tricks there, go ahead and put it in a cold pan. That's okay. And then turn it up to medium, and just when it starts to sizzle a little bit, you can turn the heat back down to medium, low. The idea here is you want to render the fat out slowly so then it starts to cook in its own fat. All right, we're about halfway through the cooking time. Time to turn those Brussels sprouts around and make sure they get nice, even cooking. Oh yeah. Perfect. They're just starting to brown up a little tiny bit on the edges. I think another 7.5 to 10 minutes and they'll be absolutely perfect. Alexa, 7.5 minute timer.
30 seconds, starting now.
Alexa, cancel that timer.
30 seconds, time is canceled.
Alexa, set a timer for 7.5 minutes.
7 minutes and 30 seconds, starting now.
Alexa, thank you.
Anytime.
That girl. All right, it's time. We're gonna be pulling out our Brussels sprouts in T-minus 1 minute. Our pancetta is nice and crispy. We've got our feta fondue ready to rock and roll. One last sip of wine before we get going. You can smell I can smell, you can't, but I can smell the Brussels sprouts and they smell awesome. Nice and roasted. Okay, ready for this? The big reveal. Because I've done this recipe half a dozen times in the last week. We're good to go. All right, let's get this thing mixed with the pancetta and let's serve it up because I'm hungry. Cool. See that? Perfectly brown? That is hot. Let's get you guys going. Well, we dropped a few. That's okay, man down. All right, because all my big bowls are dirty, I'm using a tiny one, which means I can't really mix it all together, but that's okay. We're just gonna layer stuff in, all right? Got some Brussels sprouts in the bottom. Let's put on a few spoonfuls of pancetta. That's good. I'm gonna put a little bit of feta fondue on now in the middle. One final dose of feta fondue. A little for you, a little for me. This is so good. There's just enough cayenne in there, so it gets like a little tingly bite with the lime juice. But then everything else is full feta flavor. Back to the F words. All right, I'm gonna go take a sweet picture of this, and then we'll come right back here. Actually, you know what? We're not gonna take a picture. I'm just gonna dig right in. Oh, come on. Still hot. Still very hot. Oh, but this is so good. You got nice, perfectly roasted Brussels sprouts. They're not even cooked all the way through. Like they still have enough bite to them so that they don't taste completely mushy. But you've got perfectly caramelized leaves on the outside, so you get this nice little crunch and then a bite on the inside. That's good. And then you have that feta fondue funk that's so fun, tying everything together. Oh, it's so perfect. And then little crispy bites of pancetta sprinkled throughout. This is a winner. I've outdone myself. If you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe, sign up. I don't know where this is going. Could be IGTV, could be YouTube, who knows? But follow me, sign up, I'll send you more.